I feel like this is going to be one of those talks where it's like, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed kind of talks. It's going to be like, sorry son, I have to talk to you. Yeah, see, your steaks are garbage. So this is how we're going to fix it. I almost feel like it's going to be me yelling at people, not like, hey, this is how you better yourself. Oh, camera's on? Sorry. What's up guys, welcome back to Toasted. I'm your host Gabe, and today we are, how I say, making steaks properly and then making a nice steak dinner on top of that. So I feel like this is a very important life lesson that everybody should know, and that's how to cook a steak properly. The stages of cooking a steak properly are like, it's like a gift. It's like a knowledge that anybody should have. It's like when you grow up, you're supposed to know how to clean your room and make your bed and do the dishes and how to cook a steak properly. So the stages of a cooked steak are what I like to call the 2 moo-moo stages. So when I say moo-moo, I mean like fresh from the slaughterhouse kind of moo-moo. So there's blue, which is moo-moo stage 1, and that's like seared 1 to 2 minutes tops, like both sides, hot, seared, that's it, and that's done. And then there's moo-moo 2, which is rare, and that's cooked at least 2 minutes per side, and then the next stages are medium rare, and then medium, which is my preferred method. I like it that way. If I ever go to a really nice steakhouse, I'm getting medium rare, knowing that it's going to be medium rare, and that it's going to be a good steak. Especially when you're paying like $35 for a steak, you want it to taste good. You want your money's worth. You want it to be excellent in the way it's supposed to be cooked. And that is about 4 minutes aside, 3 minutes aside, just long enough to get it somewhat cooked in the middle, but it's not warm per se. And then the next 2 are medium well and well done. Now, medium well, we're giving you therapy help. Well done, I'm just no longer going to talk to you. Like, we're not friends anymore. I'm not speaking to you. I'll get you help, but I'm not talking to you anymore. Like I said, I feel like this is a I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed kind of video. Like, I don't know why I have to do this, but I feel like people need to know the importance of cooking a proper steak. So we're gonna cook steak, and I got 2 different types of steak. I have filet mignon and ribeye, which are my 2 favorite. I'm more of a ribeye person, but I also like fillets. So we're gonna do both. And then with that, we're gonna do a nice little Caesar salad, and then some loaded baked potatoes, which, big fan. So let's get started. So when we cook our steaks, we're gonna cook these 2 different ways as well. The first way is we're going to grill them. The second way is we're going to cook them in a cast iron skillet. So to make this compound batter, it's very simple. All you need is a half cup or a stick of really soft room temperature butter. Now I also have about 3 cloves of garlic that we're going to mince and chop real fine. Alright, so we're going to add a little bit of salt, about a half teaspoon, not a lot. Especially if you're using salted butter, you don't want to use a whole lot. And then a half teaspoon of pepper. And then you also want to add either fresh thyme. I just have some dried thyme that I'm trying to use up. But you want to add about a half teaspoon of this as well. Okay. Add a good mix. And then you just take your butter. And I like to wrap it in a log shape. Okay, then you have your herb butter. We're going to put this in the fridge so that it hardens back up so that it's easier to use. Now we're going to get our potatoes ready. So I got my potatoes. All I'm going to do is cover them in oil and some sea salt. Now, a neat little trick that I've learned for potatoes is to keep them from exploding in your oven. You just take a fork and you just kind of poke a few random holes throughout the potato. It keeps them from exploding, and it helps cook the potato easier. Okay, then we're just going to take some of our oil, take some of our sea salt. Alright, so our potatoes are ready to go. Our oven is preheated. So let's throw these guys in the oven for about a half hour, maybe even 45 minutes, just until you can take a fork and poke them cleanly through. Okay, and then once our potatoes get close, then we'll get started on our steaks. So our potatoes went a little bit longer. We ended up cooking them for about an hour, but they are almost done. So we're gonna get started on our steaks. So an important factor in picking out your steaks are two things. One, not necessarily the size, but the intermuscular fat, which you can see these lines of fat inside the steaks, as well as some of the marbling. You want good marbling along the steak as well. Now you don't want a lot, because then it's just a bunch of gristle, and it's kind of hard to eat. But you want a lot of marbling, is what you're looking for in some of these steaks. Now fillets don't have a whole lot of marbling in them to begin with, so a little bit more is always a big plus. The key to a good steak is one, a hot pan or a hot grill or whatever, and two is to keep it simple. So all we're going to do is we're going to cover them all in oil, and then we're just going to add salt and pepper. So I got a little bit of olive oil in a bottle. This will help give it a nice sear to start with, as well as flavor. Oil has a better smoking point than, say, like butter, and so it doesn't get as hot as fast. Take a nice amount of salt. These are pretty thick, so I don't want to go too generous with the salt, but I also don't want to go too light with the salt either. And then we're gonna pepper. So 2 of these are gonna go out to the grill, and the other 2 are gonna stay in here, and we're gonna throw them in our cast iron pan. All right, so I got my grill nice and hot. We're gonna throw our steaks on our grill. And I kind of want to keep an eye on these, because one, they're good steaks, and two, you want that hot initial sear, but you don't want it to burn. And so you kind of want to keep them moving. Without keeping them moving too much, you want to let them just kind of do their thing and cook. But we're going to kind of keep an eye on these, and we'll get started on our other steaks. So our potatoes are done. I turned my oven off. We're going to leave these in here and just let them sit until we are ready to cut into them. So I'm getting my cast iron pan nice and hot. I got my steaks ready to go, and then I got my herb butter out. So again, you want that hot initial sear, just to get that crust formed. And the nice thing about a cast iron is it will hold its heat. I want to kind of sear some of the fat on the outside on here. Now I don't want to add my butter quite yet. I want it to get a chance to sear on one side and then sear on the other side. And then once I sear it on the other side, then I'll add my butter on top of the steaks and let them kind of melt. And then I'll baste it into the steaks, and then we're gonna finish it in the oven until they're the temperature that we want them to be. All right, so I flipped my steaks over, and now I'm gonna add a couple pads of my butter. Now I'm gonna finish this in the oven. Potatoes out. So we have our steaks done and our potatoes done. And then we also made just a simple Caesar salad. We have all this stuff for our baked potato. Let's get to eating. So I just want to give the steaks a try real quick. So this one is our pan-seared steak. This is our filet. And I let it rest for about 10 minutes. That's another important thing. If you don't let it rest, all the juice comes out. But that is a beautiful medium rare. Cheers. So good. Dude, that butter makes everything. Wow. And it's tender, and it's, it just melts. So good. All right, so now let's try the ribeye. Oh, so good. It's steak. I mean, you can't go wrong with steak. Like, there's just nothing can go wrong. Like, you can go wrong with steak, but you can't go wrong with steak. Let's be real. All right, guys, there you have it. A beautiful steak dinner made with love and happiness and all the above. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.